Here's Brody Brazil.
Let me first say that I totally understand why right now we're not finding any new information out about the A's potential relocation to Las Vegas. And that's been expected for weeks and months now. I've been saying it all along that baseball has that unwritten rule, usually during the playoffs, but especially during the World Series. You don't come out with any other distracting news surrounding the sport. If you're one of the other teams, you keep it under wraps until the World Series is over. Again, that was my expectation. It also seems like the A's have been asked to keep it silent until the baseball season is officially done. The postseason is officially complete. That being established, we're kind of generating this backlog of information that we don't have, and information that may only be out for 10 days to 2 weeks by the end of the season to potentially when a vote is taken by Major League Baseball owners with their meetings in Arlington, Texas in mid-November. There's at least 10 things we're expecting to come out, information that is unknown, but also information that would be, very necessary to a vote happening one way or another by baseball owners in this relocation application. I've got 10 things. Most of them seem mandatory. A couple of them seem like extra credit. This one is mandatory, and there's no particular order here, but before you get to the actual stadium and details and financing and the Las Vegas side of it, where exactly will the A's play? Where will they exist from the years 2025 through 2026 and into 2027? We know where 24 is going to be, the Oakland Coliseum. They hope 2028 will be in Las Vegas. At least that's what this whole aim and plan and project is for. But there's 3 full years in there of unknown right now. And the obvious choices are the Coliseum or Oracle Park in San Francisco because they're the only logical and local and logistical options. But as far as anybody knows, neither of those options are certainties right now. In fact, you might even say that either of those options, who knows if they're even possibilities right now. There have been weeks and months to figure that part out. And there's been no public information out there about it. Even privately, it doesn't seem like there's any discussion about it. The other option in conversation was that, the A's could go play in Summerlin at the Aviators ballpark. Or how about Reno? That's close by. Maybe Sacramento would love to host the A's for a couple years. There was even the wild card of Salt Lake City. The Bees are eventually moving out of their current stadium, which is not that old. I think it seats 15,000. Let the A's go move to Salt Lake City. In the meantime, get them out of Oakland on their way to Las Vegas. And it's a lot of logistics there. But the more we find out from Tony Clark, the head of the Major League Baseball Players Association, it doesn't seem like the PA is keen on big league games being played for multiple years in a minor league ballpark. I guess there's also the surprise option elsewhere, like, the A's are going to split time down at Angel Stadium or Dodger Stadium or Petco Park or maybe up in Seattle. Maybe there's something we've yet to find out. Maybe there's some discussions behind the curtains that will be revealed soon. But as of right now, we need to figure this part out. We also need to figure out how Las Vegas and the ballpark and the team and the roster down there, how it's going to be privately financed. We're aware of the $380 million. That's fine. But a lot of times, when you go to the bank and get a mortgage for your house, you got to spell out your past finances, where you're at, what your job status is, how much, assets you have, how you're going to pay for this moving forward. Or in this case, it's new construction. The bank is going to want to see blueprints. They're going to want to see how you'll get this done. They won't give you the loan until they've got the construction details all sorted away. So what financials are in order, including how to cover the expected overages? The A's have said, all right, $1.1 billion, we're good, we're in for that. But what if they're responsible, as they are, for all the overages? And what if the overages are another $500 million? What if this turns into a $2 billion facility, which it's not impossible. That's also not unlikely. What is the estimated private commitment even at this point? Is it 1.1? Is it more? And also, are there any assurances that the A's will actually spend closer to a league median or average in terms of player payroll and that baseball owners across the league might want to get them off revenue sharing or the competitive balance tax, those benefits. So how will this be privately financed? Again, that has yet to be disclosed. I think the public's interested in it, but the owners who are voting on it, they definitely want and need that information that has not been out there yet. What's the plan B in case the public funding goes away? There's that $380 million with SB 1, which was approved back in June of 2023, but it's currently being challenged by that Nevada teachers and educators group, Schools Over Stadiums. That public money could face a referendum vote if all the signatures are collected, 102,000 signatures by the summer of 2024. There'll be a vote on it if they get the signatures in November. The Tropicana site is estimated to be demolished by the end of 24. Maybe that happens anyway. I mean, look, I think that's a point here. The Tropicana site, GLPI and Bally's, who are owners and operators of the site, it does seem like that's coming down no matter what. I wonder if they have a plan B on what they would do with that site just in case the stadium thing goes away. But for the A's in baseball, what is plan B? What if 380 goes away? Can you still do this? How can you do this if you don't have the 380 you were counting on? Because the A's said not long ago that they couldn't and wouldn't move forward on this if they didn't have the public money piece and asset here. How about a media partner and revenue in Las Vegas? And I'm not going deep on this one at all. We are staying so surface level, it's not even funny, because this is my professional realm, so I'll keep it simple here. Like the A's, like every sports team, they need a way and a plan to disseminate their audio and video telecasts. They need a radio broadcast. They need a TV broadcast. They need to figure out who's going to be their partner in distribution in Las Vegas. Smaller markets, like Las Vegas, tend to have less lucrative deals than larger markets like Northern California, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. That all makes up one market, just in case you weren't aware. Technically, people think of, in baseball, well, there's Oakland, there's San Francisco. That's true, but they both share the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose market. And that's like usually between the 6th, 7th, or 8th largest market in the country. It fluctuates, but Las Vegas is around the 40th media market in the country, and it would be MLB's smallest media market. So the revenue you currently get from that, how would you address the change in revenue, the delta and the negative delta that you'd be getting in that revenue in Las Vegas? What's the plan to compensate for that right there? Stadium design and constructability. I mean, because we've yet to see any valid concept or rendering or blueprint or specifics. And credit to those who keep showing, I should say, the old renderings, the first three, but then say, you know what, you can't use these. Because I shouldn't have said they used them. Credit to those who discredit the original renderings, because the A's themselves discredited those renderings. Was it by July? Did those renderings exist for 2 months? They came out at the end of May, and by the end of July, the A's said, you know what, we've told our designers to wad those up. Don't even look at those as you do the new design. Apparently, there's a 75% concept design that's coming out right around the corner. We'll see, but it also needs to include how this is going to be built. Can this actually be built under budget, which we'll talk about in a second, but can this actually be done on 9 acres at this site? And most importantly, can it be done to the approval of Major League Baseball owners across the board? They only get one shot at going to Las Vegas, right? You don't get to build a stadium and say, well, we didn't like that, we didn't do it right, let's try this again. Is this stadium in this location, under these plans and objectives, is this the best representation of Major League Baseball in a very tourist-driven market? It's just like saying we're going to get a billboard. What do we put on our billboard? Is this the best swing we can take at Las Vegas? But until we have a design or constructability or how this is going to go and what the rest of the site is going to look like, who knows? This is a major detail that we're still waiting on. Here's another one. What is the total stadium cost? Right? We've got the initial number, $1.5 billion. And we also understand that inflation's going to happen, overages can happen. The A's have said that they're actually designing, or they're asking their designers to be very mindful of the $1.5 million cap in the budget, but there could be unexpected situations. If you've ever been a part of a construction project or a remodel project, you know how the original price is never what the final price actually is. But equally important, can the concept, right? What if the renderings come out and it is this spaceship design and, from the year 2050, and it's got all these cool things, but can it actually be built under logistical and financial constraints? Like, can you actually do this on this site? Can you also do it for $1.5 billion? You know what I mean? It's like I'm telling you I'm going to go out and buy the most expensive car possible, but I've only got $1,000 in my pocket. Well, I am going to get a car, but what I'm ultimately going to end up with is not that Lambo. So that's a big question right there. What is the actual ultimate cost of this stadium going to be? What's the realistic projection? Here's another thing that needs to be addressed. Could a relocation fee actually be accommodated? What if the owners approve the move, but also with the contingency that they're going to ask for $300 million? Because that's been projected, and even though the commissioner said, well, he wouldn't do that, maybe as we've actually seen this process unfold and the deal the A's are getting and how they're doing this and the move they'd be making, what if owners say, we're okay with it, but only if you pay your way like you're supposed to? Is there a short or long-term plan to accommodate, for the A's to accommodate the traditional cost of moving a team? The A's could come to the table. What if they came to the table and said, you know what, even if there is a relocation fee, we'll take care of it, no problem. Same thing about the public money I mentioned earlier. Well, if that happens, we've got the 380, we can get it elsewhere. We're so committed to this project, we can knock it out. But I don't know that that's been any of the messaging so far. So could this project still happen without the public money? Could this project still happen with a relocation fee that would be imposed? Now, these next couple here are the icing on the cake that I was talking about earlier. Everything else we've seen up to this point feels kind of mandatory, like things that you'd absolutely have to know that we have no clue about. And we're potentially 15, 16 days away from baseball voting on this. We have no clue publicly how it's going to go. These next couple things would be, again, like, wow, that's momentum that you can't stop. What if the A's already came out and said, you know what, we've got guarantees to ticket sales? Has there been anything stopping the A's from maybe just taking reservations, not taking anybody's money, but establishing contacts in Nevada and saying, well, we have a list right here of X amount of people who have committed to buy season tickets. They haven't given us any money, but they're all on the board. They're all with us. This has actually happened before. If you think what I'm mentioning is crazy, you saw it on the screen already. It happened in Tampa Bay in the early 90s when the Giants were planning on selling the team to Tampa investors. The group out in Tampa Bay, they went out and had 30,000 season tickets reserved. That's the sellout the A's would be looking for in Las Vegas every single game. The group in Florida went out and at least took reservations. I don't think they took anybody's money, but they had that part lined up. Like to the point where if there was any doubt, we've already got the fans. So if you're questioning that, it's not a question. Here they are. Will we see something like this? I don't know. That's the fan side of it. How about the business side of it? Are there any early guarantees to local sponsors or partnerships? Again, what's stopping the A's from making arrangements or establishing contacts down there for the stadium? What if they said already in principle, like, for example, we've got a naming rights deal for the stadium already locked in, and it's worth $250 million for 20 years or whatever, 10 years. I have no clue. I mean, they've already partnered with GLPI and Bally's for the free land, and everybody talks about the partnership and business opportunities down in Las Vegas. Where are the other ones? And if you're already in with the Bally's side of things and the GLPI side of things, can you get in on the Caesars side of things or the MGM side of things? Or is that like a no-fly zone? That's a no-go. Are you limited to who you jumped in the pool with? But again, why not come out and share and say, well, we've got our people down here. And maybe this is happening. Maybe this is about to happen. But up to this point, it's not the icing on the cake that exists. In fact, there's not even a cake, let alone icing to go on top of it. And here's another major one that would be icing on the cake that does not yet exist. Are there any early guarantees to hosting other events at your ballpark? Because if there are no other events and the A's say they need like 2.5 million visitors per year to pay off the bonds from Clark County, and they need to basically sell out every A's game for 30 years to pay it off, the other possible way to bring people in and to lessen that expectation on baseball is to have a bunch of other events there. All winter long, have events. Summer days in between homestands, have events there. What's stopping the A's from lining things up now and saying, well, we've acquired, this conference is going to come in, this group is going to come in. That event will be here on an annual basis. We have secured an NCAA tournament or a college division basketball tournament to happen here every year. Or this stadium can also host football on a smaller venue. I mean, Allegiant Stadium's right around the corner. Sam Boyd Stadium exists too. But my point is, what about the other events? Because if you don't do this, it's possible to cost Clark County taxpayers, cost them on construction bonds. It's possible to cost the county if you don't sell a certain amount of tickets and gain a certain amount of revenue to go back and pay off and service those bonds. So concerts, events, etc. I haven't heard anything about the other things they'll do there in this process. And all those things that I just mentioned, the fans that would for sure be there, the businesses that would for sure be there, the other events that would for sure be there. What has stopped the A's from at least making those connections and networking, and to the point now where they can just say, hey, it's not a for sure deal, but we've reached an arrangement on that. That would help facilitate this process so much easier as it goes. So 10 things I'm expecting, I guess 7 things on that list that I'm insistent on seeing. Like you probably need to see those details. The final 3, as advertised, are more icing on the cake. You made it here to the end of the video. Wow, almost 20 minutes long. You know I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.